All right, so I've actually brought in an article in terms of what we're going to discuss in this tutorial. So if you wish to read and get more theory in terms of what we'll be covering in this tutorial, you can surely go ahead and check out this Medium post that I've written. So it basically has everything that we're going to discuss. But if you want to do it step by step in this guide, let's just get in and continue. All right. So as I've mentioned earlier on, in this tutorial, we're going to cover a binary classification problem. So in this case, we're going to use the dataset that is available on Kaggle. I will provide the link down in the description below. So on this link, we have a bank term deposit prediction problem, right? So this is a prediction it's called predicting subscription to term deposits through marketing campaigns, right? So this is some sort of a bank that are doing some sort of like marketing, calling different clients, and they have data that they've collected from these clients, and the task is to create a machine learning model that can actually go ahead and predict to see whether a client will subscribe to some campaign or they will not subscribe to that campaign, right? So basically this is a binary classification problem. So these are the data set, right? So basically Kaggle, you can find different data sets and models that you can use, right? So these data sets, as long as you acknowledge them, you can simply go ahead and reuse them in your research, right? So in this case, in this tutorial, I'm going to use this bank term prediction data set, right? So what does this dataset have, right? So the dataset is titled Direct Marketing Campaigns for Bank Term Deposits, right? So it's a collection of data related to the direct marketing campaigns conducted by the Portuguese banking institutions. These campaigns primarily involved phone calls with customers, and the objective was to determine whether or not the customer would subscribe to a term deposit affected by the bank. The dataset contains various features that provide insights into customer attributes and campaign outcomes, right? So these are the features that our dataset has, right? So our dataset has things like age, job, marital status, right? Housing loan, whether or not the customer has a housing loan with the bank, the day of the month when the campaign was conducted, the contacts, the duration, right? So like what I mentioned earlier on, the goal is to try to predict whether these clients that this campaign is being pushed to will subscribe to this campaign. What I'm simply going to do here is I have downloaded this dataset, right? So if you have downloaded, just quickly go ahead, and if you have not downloaded, just quickly go ahead and download this dataset and save it into your local machine, right? So once you have done that, we need to analyze this data, try to understand it better, so that we'll be able to build a model that is coming from a place where we know what kind of data we have and what to expect. So see you in the next one. All right, before we start writing some code, the first thing that you need to do here is you need to go ahead and install these tools that we're going to be using, right? So in the Medium blog, again, I've put links where you can actually go ahead and find the tools that you need to install, right? So first of all, you need to install TensorFlow, which is simply a Google framework for building machine learning models. You need to install Jupyter Notebook, right? So in this tutorial, I'll be using VS Code, that is an extension of Jupyter Notebook. So that's the one that I'll be using. Or alternatively, you can use this free Google Colab, which is hosted by Google, which can give you computing resources, including CPU, GPUs, and etc. But for this tutorial, I'll be running on CPU. So if you have a basic CPU machine, I'm sure you should be able to follow along. Right, then the third package that you need to install is you need to install NumPy. Then you also need to install skitlearn library, which is a free machine learning library for Python, right? So we'll be using this one as well. And then for our plotting our graphs, you need to install matplotlib. So I've linked these packages to the specific links where you need to be installing this, right? So if you just click on a specific link, you should be able to be redirected to the page where you can actually go ahead and install these. You need to make sure that you've installed TensorFlow version 2 and above, right? Because that's the one that will come with our machine learning framework called Keras, right? So this is the one that we'll be using for deep learning. It's a nice framework that has nice APIs that we'll be using to build our neural network. So make sure that you installed TensorFlow version 2 and above, or you can alternatively install Keras on its own. Right, so once you have this installed, you are ready to go. So see you in the next one.